G'day everybody and welcome to a new segment. It's going to be called This Week in Crypto. And we're going to look at charts, we're going to look at news, we're going to talk about what's been going on and how it affects our lives as crypto enthusiasts and also as traders, for those of you who are traders as well. But it's a bit more broad, this puppy. We're going to go through a couple of the news, different platforms, and see just what has been going on. Now, of course, this week we've seen not a great deal of movement, to be fair. Bitcoin hasn't done a great deal. It's been in a very consolidated range. There's been some trades that have been available, and I'll show them to you in just a moment, but it's been a pretty slow week. Compare that to traditional markets where we've seen them go whooshka and then being bounced back straight back, or not straight back, but from their lows are up 23% on something like the Dow, which has been based on the stimulus package. I still think there might be more pain to come in those traditional markets, given the fallout of COVID-19, as it has obviously affected the world. There is further effects still yet to come, with unemployment rates still not being announced in many of these countries, as well as the ongoing threat that the disease, or the virus I should say, has around the world. We're not through it yet. More countries are in shutdown, lockdown, or getting very close to doing that. I know my country here, where I am in Australia, I can see it coming very, very soon, perhaps even as soon as Friday. So a lot still to come from that. How does Bitcoin do out of this? Well, so far so good. We're holding, apart from the big fall last week, which was when we saw 45% shaving off the price of Bitcoin. We've been fairly steady and climbing back to regain much of what was taken during that period of time. Now, coming to the news, what has happened this week? Well, there's one thing that I find myself personally quite confused and perplexed about. I'll tell you what that is. It's this one right here. Now, we're on Cointelegraph, of course. Check this out. Binance reveals the secret behind its cryptocurrency futures success. Now, here's why I'm a little bit confused, because Binance is a terrible trading platform for futures. When it comes to using margin, it is horrendous. Okay, it's I'm just telling it how it is. Okay, it's difficult to use. It's not giving you enough margin. I think you can have up to 5 times margin up to 1 Bitcoin. So those that are trading with a decent volume just can't. The more leverage you get, it doesn't make any sense. It's not something that is easy to work with. Okay, it's not intuitive in the way that you would use this thing. I'm not using it. I mean, I'm a trader. You know this. I trade the markets every single day. Well, I don't necessarily take trades, but I'm in the markets every single day. I do not use Binance futures. No. So perhaps it's for people that don't know what a good futures platform actually is. And let's be honest, there's not that many good ones in crypto, or any that really compared to traditional markets. But I've got I've got volatility in this market that is extreme. So I'm happy to deal with it. I'm happy to use it. And my platform that I use is FTX. There is a link below if you do want to get involved. You get 10% trading fees and you help us out as well. It's up to you. We'll teach you how to use it as well. So I just don't understand. I mean, if you look at the quotes here, we knew we would be there soon, and we made it slightly more than 6 months' time. Now, well done on your success, Binance, but let's be honest, you've got a long way to go before you're going to entice any traditional players into this space. We need to bring more traditional money into this space so that they can be bringing more volume and more for us to be working with as traders and investors alike. It's not going to be done with platforms like Binance in their current state, so we need to see those improve. Really, really big one there. You've got to do better, Binance. Thank you for trying, but more please. When I spoke with CZ back in November, it was very obvious. He's a very intelligent tech entrepreneur, but when it comes to platforms, futures, no idea. So maybe give me a call. I'll consult for you. Okay, we are the first major crypto exchange to launch max 125 times leverage. Now that might be on the Bitcoin contract, and look, I haven't used the Bitcoin contract and I haven't actually looked at it for quite some time, so I might go and have a look at that just shortly, but I can tell you for many of the other contracts it ain't pretty out there. So that's Binance to talk to that. Of course, we've seen a lot of other things out there. The type of news that I really don't have any time for or like that much, and my news doesn't make me change anything. I don't make any decisions at all ever based off a news item, and to be fair, I kind of just catch up on the Fridays to do this show. So let me have a look here. Things like this: XRP set for a big 40% drop as Bitcoin's dominance climbs higher. That's just pure speculation. There's no basis for that. Now, I'm not suggesting it because I'm not a big XRP fan. I'm nothing. It's just another market for me to trade. But for me, it doesn't tell me anything, and if anything, it's just putting crap out there. Okay. EOS to become more community driven. I don't see that as anything big. AI meme content, yeah, okay, we're not interested in that. Heads up, so heads of Binance, Ledger, Zico, and Speak Internet, yeah. Mysterious found of cross-chain. Again, this is not news that I find to be incredibly important for me as a trader or anything really in crypto. National digital currencies, not yet too big to fail. That's something that I think's been a token, sorry, pardon the pun, an item that's been sort of discussed quite broadly this year. The last couple of weeks. Of course, we're talking about centralized banking system, but going into a digital age. Of course, with the coronavirus screaming around the world right now, what we're finding is we've got a lot of people that don't want to use cash. And if you don't want to use cash and companies are saying, please, we don't want to use cash, then you have to have an alternative. It does seem more sensible for a government to maintain even more control over its people by having a digital asset, because they can get the data of where we are and what we do through our phones and Facebook, pretty much, let's be honest. If you don't think they're getting that, the data's there, okay? And also what we've got is if they were to put the money, if they were to put a digital currency out there on the blockchain, well, I'm just saying that they pretty much have even more control because they can see our spending habits and how much money we have or have not got. That is why I think it'll be positive for Bitcoin, the talk of going to a digital currency. Bitcoin will be a currency that will be owned entirely by the people. So very, very interesting there. As you can see, 30 years from now, Americans, Japanese, Europeans, and people in many other rich countries, and some relatively poor ones, will probably be paying for their shopping with the same currency. Prices will be quoted not in dollars, yen, or D-marks, but in, let's say, the Phoenix. I like that name. The fan of rising from the ashes. Yeah, maybe it works. The Phoenix will be favoured by companies and shoppers because it will be more convenient than today's national currencies, which by then will seem a quaint cause of much disruption to economic life in the last 20th century. I agree. A lot of talk going on in there right now. Do I think Bitcoin will be the reserve currency of the world? Absolutely not. No, I do not. I think it will be the not so much anonymous, but I think it will probably hold a place of the people's currency. They can't take it off you. They can't take anything away in that regard. Now over to Mickey, mickey.com.au. We'll have a look through what's going on here. Some different stories here, which is good. And this is why I look across a couple of different options. Okay, this one, the stimulus. Looking at this with Mickey, Congress approves $2 trillion stimulus bill. Markets spike in response. Now, does that come as any surprise to you? Probably not. Does it come as a surprise to me? No, not at all. A $2 trillion injection is the biggest injection of liquidity and capital that the world has ever seen. Now, does that mean that we're safe? Does that mean that we're out of it? Absolutely not. Stimulus is there when things are getting really, really bad. They haven't said this is the end of it. Just like in the GFC, the first measures, I was sitting there trading this, guys, when they came out and they cut the LIBOR rate, which is the rate at which banks can lend to each other. All of a sudden, a falling market became a racing market. Now, that did stem the bleeding for a little while, okay? Following that, Obama came out and talked about quantitative easing, which was the first time I'd heard of quantitative easing back, when was I, 25 or something? It was the first time I'd actually heard and understood what quantitative easing was. And effectively, at the time, the conversation was all around, well, they're just printing money. They're printing money, and we're going to see stocks inflated in value over time if they continue to print. They did QE1, they did QE2, and I don't know what number they're up to now. It just seems like it's never ending. And it may very well be that it is never ending. Now, what does that do to a market? Of course, it gives it confidence. It buoys that market. It pushes that market back up. Has it done anything for Bitcoin? No, not as yet. Will it do something for Bitcoin? Well, here are some of the things that a stimulus package can bring that's negative. You can see additional inflation. If we see inflation increase, then we will see basically this pen will no longer cost $400 anymore. This pen will now be costing $700 because there's so much more money in the system and it doesn't equate to value the same way it used to. That's if pays don't rise. Now, Americans seem to be very slow in raising pay. A little bit has happened recently, but it has been slow overall. And will we see that, or will we see an uproar? Will we see an uprising? Will we see violence? What are we going to see when there's that much going on? Well, I just hope the heads of state, the heads of the Federal Reserve are in a position where they're very aware of this and they know what they're doing. And I hope they're doing it for the right reasons. So we have seen that $2 trillion being given. How it's going to be rolled out, well, you'll have to keep your eyes open and you'll have to read this story. So there you go. At last we have a deal. After days of intense discussions, the Senate has reached a bipartisan, but I can't even say it. I feel like Scott Morrison. This is getting really, really frustrating. Agreement on a historic relief package for this pandemic. We're going to pass this legislation later today. Okay, so that rock spider there is doing his thing, and we've got a bit of back and forth going on in that market at the moment. Of course, it has been a very trying time for a lot of people. For me, that's the most important story across this lot. I'm not here to read all of them for you. I suggest you go through and check those out. Across onto CoinDesk. What we've got here is a whole bunch of different things. I'm not too interested in things like this. US says Venezuelan president hid massive drug ring proceeds. That's cool news and all that, but it doesn't really affect me. Bitcoin mining difficulty posts second biggest percentage drop in history. This, for me, is one of the stories of the week as well. And the reason I see it as being one of the stories of the week is quite simply because it's about Bitcoin. And let's be honest, okay? Let me just quickly jump up into here. Coin market cap. Where have I got that? Oh, no. Coin. There it is. I'll throw coin market cap up for all to see. Bitcoin is still a very large percentage of our market. Of course, you can see 123 billion of the 188 billion. I'll show you in just a moment what the chart looks like on the Bitcoin dominance chart. You'll actually see that it has actually broken from a level of resistance and pushed on quite well this week. So it does look set to continue, that Bitcoin will continue to be dominant and probably have a higher percentage dominance this time next week if that trend is to continue. So when it comes down to it, the mining and the degree of difficulty, that does have a big impact on our market, not just Bitcoin, but the entire market, because when Bitcoin goes out, well, that rising tide, it floats all ships. So a key measure of competition among Bitcoin miners has dropped by 15.95%, the second largest decline in the network's history. Now, I'm not really into the mining side of it all that much, and I've read mixed reports on this. Some on one hand are saying that it is really, really good, some on the other saying it's not. Now what you can see here is this. What they're saying is 2 weeks ago Bitcoin suffered its worst sell-off in 7 years, and it has only partially recovered since. Now I don't know when this article was published. When was it? March 26th. That was yesterday. So I don't agree it's only partially recovered. Well, I suppose the truth is it has only partially recovered. But let me show you what it has recovered. So let's go over here, throw this up, and go from there, right? So here we have Bitcoin. Now, I'm going to go out to the daily time frame here and have a real good look at this. We fell from here all the way down to 37, okay? 52% fall from its lows. To say that it's only partially recovered is true, because it hasn't recovered all the way, but it has recovered a whopping 82%. So from where the drop started to where price is right now, it's only 13%. Now I think most of us would agree that if we had gradually fallen down 13% to here, we probably wouldn't have the same amount of pandemonium as what we saw throughout this period. And this, from rumor having it, is the BitMEX issue that caused the market to fall. This is where news does affect markets. Don't get me wrong, I trade charts, I trade technical analysis, but I am very aware that markets are influenced by fundamental factors. The thing is, I can't know when fundamental factors are going to come ahead. So I focus on the charts, and it's done me well in my 14-year trading career. So let me take you across right now and show you right as it stands with Bitcoin dominance page. Here we go, down here. Chart, sorry. Now look at this daily. What you're going to notice here is that there is a line. There it is there. Resistance, good convergence. I'm talking about potential trade here, Bitcoin breakout. It's one of the trading strategies that I work with. It's pushed above quite nice, and as you can see, it's had a little pullback, which is natural for a good trend, but we're at 67% now, 67.5% of the total cryptocurrency market cap. That is a big whack. That is why that mining is very important. As far as trading this week, well, was there trades? Yeah, there's been a couple. I'm currently long at the moment on a specific contract, but I'm going to show you what I got a hold of this week, and it was Bitcoin. On the day we had about 4.5% move. What did I capture? Where was that trade? That was on the Tuesday. What's today? 27th. Count back. Okay. It was just here. Now this is what I call a crypto cradle, higher high, pull back, beautiful. Have that in the courses that I teach. Ended up getting up somewhere up around the vicinity of here, got about 1% out of that one, not much of a move, but still 1%. The second trade that I managed to get my hands on during the week was also back here. I believe it was on the 30-minute time frame. Once again, it was a little cradle trade, and it was just here. Another one, pull back in. I took actually that little red candle, got a nice move. I only risked 0.5% on that one, so I ended up only making 0.5% on that one, but so far I stand up 1.5% on the week. Yes, navigating the news, navigating the charts, navigating this wild market that is cryptocurrency, and navigating being locked down here in my apartment in Bondi Beach. So it has been a difficult period of time, but the markets, well, they haven't changed. We've still got opportunity. We're still here. Keep yourself safe. Keep your head down. And if you want some free information, go to tradercobb.com. Free courses, free webinars, and free bits and pieces from me. Guys, have a fantastic weekend, and this is the beginning of the weekly crypto wrap. So please share it with your mates, share it on the different groups that you're associated with, give me a like, write your comments of anything you want to see in these, and hit the subscribe button. Let's share the love. We've got plenty of time to do so now. Stay safe, stay home. My heart's with you, and I'm going to help as much as I can over this weird period. Take it easy, guys. Bye for now.
The Trader Cobb Crypto Show, talking business in blockchain.